Ready? I would like to call to order today's meeting, the State of Nevada Board of Examiners for Tuesday, November 10th, 2020 till order. If I could ask for a roll call, please.
Governor Sisolak,
Here.
Secretary of State Sagaski,
I'm here.
Attorney General Ford.
I'm here as well.
Let the record reflect we do have a quorum.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. Second item is public comment. This is the time for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board on any item on today's agenda. Items on the agenda, please step forward, identify yourself for the record. Comments to be limited to 3 minutes. I see we have no one in Las Vegas. There is no one in the whole room in Carson City except our incredible staff and I. And anybody on the phone?
Governor, I do have something I'd like to read.
Okay.
My name's Patricia Adkison.
Is this
And I
related?
would like to
I'm sorry. Is this related to an agenda item?
Yes, I believe it is.
Okay, go ahead.
If not, it ties into. I would like to read the following comments into the record, as well as my written submission made to the board and submitted on Monday, November 9th. Good morning, board members. My name is Patricia Adkison, and first I'd like to acknowledge this body's tireless efforts during these historical trials we face in our great state. I'm commenting today on 2 matters related to imminent lawsuits stemming from NDOC's circumvention of the lawful standards approved by and codified by this body, acting as the Board of Prison Commissioners, where the public's trust is at stake. Governor, I met you a few years ago in Centennial Hills at what we call the Butterfly Park. I believed then that you were sincere and were going to do good things. My family and friends are mostly Republican, but we rallied support and voted for both you and Attorney General Aaron Ford. We have followed your careers and believe that you will bring about good change. The built-in bias in our government is sometimes hard to perceive, but once noticed, action must be taken. One of the biggest problems that plagues this effort is that it's nearly impossible to reach out to our elected officials. Governor, on October 8th, I reported to you unlawful actions by NDOC seizing inmate funds related to abuse of ARs. You ordered NDOC to immediately suspend their unlawful actions related. However, to this day, NDOC has failed to fully comply, refusing to restore the gift coupons and continuing to seize inmates' funds by increasing their savings from $400 to $550, relying on John Borman's signature alone. The point of relevance is that the public needs better and more meaningful access to our elected officials. The public would be better served if the Board of Prison Commissioners would convene on a monthly basis and allow the public to create agenda items. A review of Attorney General Opinion 96-24, dated February 14, 1997, regarding question number 6, concludes joint meetings of the Board of Examiners and the Board of Prison Commissioners are permissible. This seems to be a clear path to a possible solution for regular oversight. Governor, it is a public civic duty to tell you that we have identified abuse by the NDOC in their internal practice related to custody matters that are costing the public approximately $200 million a year. I'm appealing to you to seek an Attorney General opinion related to NDOC's abuse of the inmate classification system. Please provide meaningful access to the appropriate officials for follow-up on this matter, as I know this is not the correct form. One last thing, Governor, is there a contact person, email, or somebody at your office that I can speak to, because the number that I have wasn't answered? Thank you for your time, and my contact is included, and I sit in anticipation, waiting to hear from someone at your direction. Thank you again.
Thank you very much for your comments. Do we have anyone else wishing to speak during public comment? Susan, were those distributed to everybody that heard comments? Could get a copy to my office, if you would. Thank you. Okay. It concludes public comment. Item number 3, approval of the October 13th, 2020 minutes.
Move for approval. There were some, if I can just for a minute, Governor, there were some recommendations from my staff, and I think that your staff took all of them into consideration, so thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion from Secretary Sagaski. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 4, authorization for an emergency contract with a current and/or former state employee. Susan.
Item number 4 contains 3 items from the Department of Employment, Training, and Rehabilitation, seeking favorable recommendation from the board on their use of the emergency provisions to contract with 3 former employees. The department contracted through Manpower with all 3 of these employees from October 5th, 2020 to February 5th, 2021. The former employees all retired within the last 24 months, which is requiring this action item on the agenda today. Are there any questions related to this item?
Do we have any questions on item number 4?
None here. If you'll entertain a motion, I'll move approval.
Yes. We have a motion on the floor for approval. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Item number 5, approval of proposed state administration manual changes.
Item number 5 is a request for approval to revise the State Administrative Manual, Section 1300 State Vehicles and Section 1400 Fleet Services Division. This request was put forward by the Department of Administration Fleet Services Division as a result of an LCB audit. The reason for these changes is to strengthen controls on agency usage of monthly rentals. The proposed change to Section 1400 is intended to clearly establish the roles and responsibilities of both fleet services and the using agencies. These changes also provide enforcement authority for fleet services to improve compliance with required tracking and necessary maintenance. Additionally, Section 1300 is clarified to establish that it contains policies that pertain to all state vehicles, while SAM 1400 pertains to fleet services vehicles. Are there any questions on this item?
Do we have any questions on this item?
None here.
Do I have a motion?
Move approval.
We have a motion for approval on item number 5. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing and seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. We don't do seconds. That motion passes. Item number 6, request for approval of payment for the statutory contingency account.
Item number 6 includes 1 request for compensation for wrongful conviction from the statutory contingency account. The 2019 legislature approved Assembly Bill 267, which provides for the compensation and other properly related matters to certain persons who were wrongfully convicted. The legislation requires the court to enter a certification of innocence and determine the proper amount of the award. On October 9th, 2020, a certificate of innocence and an order granting monetary relief were granted to Ms. Kathy Woods by the Second Judicial Court. Pursuant to NRS 41.950, the amount of the award is $2,850,000. The current balance in the account is approximately $5.5 million. If this item is approved, the remaining amount would be approximately $2.7 million. Are there any questions on this item?
Do we have any questions on this item? This is a result of last session.
This is Barbara Sagaski. And the only thing that I would ask is I'm just concerned about not having enough money remaining in the fund for these large amounts that are granted. So that's my only concern about all of this.
No, that's a good point. General Ford, do you know how many more are pending, or do you have?
Yes, sir. Well, I don't know exactly how many are pending, but I can say this. The calculation was made during the legislative session, my recollection is, and that the intent was to have in the statutory contingency account a sufficient amount to take us through a certain number of these. And I think we are fine for now. Maybe next legislative session, if other exonerations come to light, then we may have to revisit this. But I do believe, and I shouldn't speak on behalf of GFO or other finance-related folks, but I do believe we are in a good place right now to be able to pay future claims that are coming out of this based on the 10 or so that we were outstanding.
Okay. Susan.
Just for the board's information, we worked closely with the Attorney General's office and went to the Interim Finance Contingency Fund to replenish this account for any of these items that were expected to be paid out through the end of the legislative session, and we will have a request to replenish this account based on what we know during the legislative session for future claims.
But in response to what I think Secretary Sagaski was asking, do we have enough to get us through the next end of the legislative session, you think?
We believe that we have enough to get us through the end of the legislative session at this point in time, unless something else comes up that we weren't expecting.
Okay. Okay. Does that?
Governor?
Yes.
Thank you. This is Barbara Sagaski again. My concern is that, we're in a real pickle with our budget the way it is right now. And if you're putting a bill requesting more money, that has me concerned as well. So I just wanted it on the record that I am concerned about this money and just where are we getting it from? Maybe Susan can answer that. Thank you.
So these funds come from the general fund, and when we replenish the IFC contingency account, the statutory contingency account, and the stale claims account, that comes from savings that have been realized in prior fiscal years.
I'll be watching. All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Did we have a motion on this one? No?
Not yet, but I'll move approval.
Okay, we have a motion for approval. Is there any discussion on that motion?
I just want to say, Mr. Governor, that this is yet another example of our state doing justice. It doesn't always manifest itself in a conviction. Sometimes it manifests itself in an exoneration. The state was wrong in this instance, and I'm glad to see that we are able to offer some level of recompense to Ms. Woods for her wrongful conviction and imprisonment.
Thank you, General Ford, and I agree. It can't get her the time back, the 28 years, but it can certainly help a little bit starting of a new life. So I'm glad we were able to do that. We have a motion on the floor. Any discussion further? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Sorry, I had to get myself off mute. Yes.
General Ford?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item number 7, approval of leases.
There are 4 leases in item 7 for approval by the board today. Are there any questions on any of these items?
No, they're not from me, but I want to again thank you for my briefings where all my questions are answered. So we don't have any at this meeting. But it's very helpful to me, and I'm sure that my colleague board members feel the same way. Do we have any discussions on item number 7?
No, but I want to echo what you said, Governor. Your staff is very, very good at responding to us, and we're very appreciative.
Yep, you bet you. Thank you. Do we have a motion on this one?
Move
Move
approval.
to approve.
We have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 8, approval of proposed contracts.
There are 42 contracts in agenda item 8 for approval by the board this morning. I would just note that contract number 7 with the Department of Veteran Services and Broadbent and Associates is contingent upon approval of an IFC work program. And the amount for contract number 27, which is the Department of Public Safety Fire Marshal's Office and TS Hazmat Consulting Services, was missing from the agenda. That amount is $627,028. Are there any questions on any of these items?
I do not have any. Does anyone have any questions on this?
None here.
Do we have a motion?
Move approval.
We have a motion on the floor. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing, seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 9, approval of proposed master service agreements.
There are 4 master service agreements in agenda item 9 for approval by the board this morning. Are there any questions on any of these?
Nope.
None here.
Hey, I've got one on number 2 with the contract with the Legion. At one time, Barbara, you might remember this, I wasn't here, there was also a contract with Southwest Airlines. Do you recall that?
Yes, I do, sir.
Was that stopped for a reason, or did they not want to renew it, or what?
Well, unfortunately, we had people that weren't ethical in obtaining tickets for family members and friends, and Southwest stopped doing that with us because of that activity, and so that's why they stopped. It wasn't anything other than we just had a problem.
Oh.
So I'm hoping that people will understand that this is just for, the elected people, and I don't know if there's anything else in this statement that does anything else, but I was happy to see that Allegiant Air went on, because Southwest seems to be higher some days than others, and so we've looked at both. So we're happy that they're both here, and I hope that these agreements will go.
Okay, Susan?
So I would just like to clarify for the record that we do currently have a contract with Southwest Airlines.
Oh,
It
we
is
do?
not an exclusive contract. This is not an exclusive contract they can use either.
Okay, so we have two now.
That is correct.
Oh, good, okay. Great. Okay. Do we have a motion on this item?
Move approval.
Move for approval.
We have a motion for approval and
Sorry.
discussion.
Sorry, Attorney General.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion, any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 10, Clerk of the Board Contracts and Information item.
Again, this is an information item. There are 49 contracts that were under the $50,000 threshold that were approved by the clerk between September 22nd, 2020 and October 19th, 2020. Are there any questions on any of these items?
Not for me. Do we have any questions on this one? This is an information item. Hearing none, I'll move on to item number 11, which is public comment. This is the second time set aside for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board on any item, please step forward, identify yourself for the record. Comments be limited to 3 minutes. Do we have anybody in Las Vegas? Carson City. Ma'am, did you have a comment over there? No? Okay. No one in Carson City. Do we have anyone on the phone or any written comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Barbara. Thanks, Aaron.